All right, welcome. I'm Dr. Chris Grieco. I'm a radiology doctor in Cambridge, UK, and in short, I'm doing this as a bit of a fun way to study. I've got these exams coming up. Unfortunately, I failed the last round of FRCR 2A. That's like the biggest, hardest exam in medicine. Basically, it's covering the pathology and imaging findings of basically everything that can go wrong in the human body. It's one of the toughest exams. I prepared very hard for the last round in November, but despite spending months, I still came up short. So here's my way of basically keeping accountable. I want to try and utilize Anki for exactly how it's designed. So thankfully someone a lot cleverer than me has designed Anki with an Ankimon plugin, which I'll show you how it works. But if you want to really find out how it works and how to set it up, go over to Jake Rom MD's YouTube channel, or just Google Ankimon, and I'm sure you'll find his video. He's done like an incredible explainer video on how to set it up. So without further ado, I'll explain it and show you how it works. So basically, when you first download the plugin, you'll get a choice of starter Pokemon. I'll show you how to just skip through the generations by pressing G. Be careful when you're doing this because you literally only get one chance to set it up. So I'm going to go for Charmander, and he's been chosen as my starter Pokemon. Okay, hope today is just to show you kind of a starter guide on Ankimon, and this will hopefully be something I'll do a bit more often in the run-up to these exams, which are coming up in April. So I'm starting nice and early. I've got 114 days left. Some people say you should start 6 months in advance. It's about 4 months in advance, and given that I started in November, I've done a lot of the groundwork already in terms of the reading. Both volumes of core radiology, and yeah, still came up short, and I did like multiple question books and question banks. So I think the reality is some people have to put in more effort than others to pass this exam. So unfortunately, I'm one of those that will have to put in a lot more effort, and I'm okay with that. I just want to turn it into a fun kind of creative way to do that. So I don't know what's happened, but I think I've lost Anki somehow. So let's see if I can bring it back. This is my first time streaming and my internet isn't great, so let's see if it'll work. It's synced okay, but I think I've lost Ankimon. Let's see if we can reopen it. So yeah, up here in the top toolbar, which you probably can't see on the screen, but it's a little Ankimon additional toolbar on Mac, and then you just go game and then open Ankimon window. So yeah, there we go, nice. We've got our first encounter. So we've got our wild Rhyhorn has appeared. I'm going to chuck this up over here, if it'll let me move it. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So I've got like 20,000 plus questions, which is going to be far too many, but I'm going to try and just stick to a few per day, and create some of my own as well. So neuro was the topic that I scored lowest on, so that's going to be my key to starting off. And the way I study is like a traffic light method. So what I'm weakest on, I'll give it a red. What I'm kind of medium on, I'll give it an amber. And what I feel good about, I'll give it a green. So cardiothoracics, which included vascular and IR, was surprising enough the topic I did best on. And for anyone that knows me knows that I very much am fascinated by IR and not too much of other parts of radiology, to be honest. So yeah, I've got the physical textbooks. I'll be going along kind of through these chapters again using Crack the Core as my like go-to guide. Shout out to Tanmay Jadav, who's got an insane video on YouTube on like his strategy. So I'll be incorporating a few things that he's kind of instructed on. I'll see if I can show you. I think I can show you the things that he showed. So yeah, here's his ChatGPT FRCR 2A quizzer. So we'll give this a go in a minute, but I haven't actually tried this yet. But he uses GPT to explain questions he got wrong. And my plan is to use that, explain stuff, and then create a new Anki card to add to my deck. Then, yeah, here as well, this is something that he's shared on his YouTube video. I should probably put the links to these YouTube videos down in the description or in the comments or whatever. So I'll do that eventually. But here is a set of slides that Stephen Lee K has created. Don't know when, but cheers Stephen Lee. So we'll go on the neuro ones. Basically, Crack the Core is a great textbook. It is the most succinct version of like the radiology curriculum. You could have that many images. So Stephen Lee has been very kind as to painstakingly go through every page, every line of Crack the Core textbook and put the associated imaging findings. So yeah, like in Crack the Core, in my spaces, and then not much more, like unless you've actually seen them before. This is quite a poor example. Let's go for one that's yeah, cave invariance, right? If it just describes is much more of a question, single best answer, no images whatsoever, just descriptions of images. So yeah, my strategy is going to be to do as many questions as possible, review these slides, 21 slides in total. So this is where I'm going to get the new Anki cards from. So I'll be guided a little bit in terms of which questions and which topics to cover. And yeah, here's a little useful how to use Ankimon thing. Let's just reload it, see if we can get the images to load as well. And then here's the page on Ankimon by Unlucky Life, which is just the Ankimon plugin page. So yeah, there's actually a really great community now on through as many questions as possible. I did about 2,500-3,000 questions in preparation for the last sitting and all that reading, which yeah, wasn't enough. So we'll be doing even more questions and using Anki to kind of keep track and hopefully powering up a little Charmander here to a Charizard in the process. So I'll show you how it works. We'll just click on 2A and study now. We've only got a couple in here. So 39-year-old male smoker was referred to the cardiologist. So yeah, this one thing I want to do is like read the question first. So what is the most likely diagnosis? Some of them it says least likely and then wasted. Or sometimes it will ask a question that's unrelated to the actual pretext and you've just wasted time. So ventricular septum. This is one I got wrong before, so I know this to be edit. Didn't know you could do that. E, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. All right, I'm going to say that's easy because I know that now. So yeah, this is from Core Radiology, which is by Mandel. So yeah, I guess here is where, once I get into it, this is where I'll start asking for clarification on the different patterns. I could upload this image to the GPT, the custom GPT, and just ask it to explain it. Okay. Testicular screening ultrasound for a 25 cardiac myxoma, pigmented lesions, lips and face. So Peutz-Jeghers, you get pigmented lesions. Carney syndrome, you also get that, and you get testicular Sertoli cell cancer with that. I'm seeming clever here because I've seen. Yeah, here we go. I probably won't do this many explanations, but here you go. We've done 2 questions. Once we do 2 questions, we should see some damage be dealt. So let's see if we can crunch through a few a bit quick, and then we'll do a bit quicker. And yeah, maybe once I've done quite a few, my internet is really struggling. Maybe once we've done quite a few of edit up the gameplay footage and just make this kind of a slow-mo time-lapse series where, yeah, I don't know, maybe see how we get on with answering as many questions as possible and powering up this Charmander.